Hey everybody, welcome back. It's us at Second Wind again. My name's Casey Wosu. Joining me today is JM8.
Hello.
Nick Calandra.
Hey.
And Jesse Galena.
Hey, and welcome to Topical Punch.
We didn't confirm that that's the name of this.
It's called Topical Punch.
We did not confirm that.
Two of us dressed up for this topical event and two were left in the dark.
Anywho, this
is
talk
my
here,
version of topical. Iceland.
this episode is going to be based around Valve's Deadlock. It's a new MOBA / hero shooter light experience. The four of us spent some time in its closed alpha test. Lots of people are playing it. There's a lot of buzz around it. But since we got access, we decided, we'd sit down, have a quick talk about our thoughts and opinions on it. But, first up, how familiar are most of you guys with MOBAs in general? Like, I know some more than others. Jay in particular.
Yeah, I'll let everyone else speak to them. Yeah.
Jesse, what is your experience with MOBAs?
Enough time in League of Legends to think maybe I should get sweaty and then realize that was a terrible decision. Stop getting sweaty and then realize that no one else in the community wanted to play like I did and stop that. And then actually a whole lot of Smite. So third person MOBAs, I have several hundred hours in.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Jay?
Me, across the board between Dota 2, League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, and Paragon, which is relevant with it being a third-person shooter MOBA. I have about 4,000 hours between them.
That's a lot.
If you discount MMOs, I'm a big MOBA player, so this was, right up my street, and I've got a lot to say on how this is done.
How about you, Nick? Are you very familiar with MOBAs? Is it a blind spot for you?
My experience with them is loading up Dota 2 for about a week, which the community likes to poke fun at me for, because I got into it for like a week and then I got out of it real quick. And then I loaded up Smite 2 after trying Deadlock, and somebody was really mean to me, and I was like, I've had enough of this.
And that's usually how it goes.
So
the MOBA experience.
I've always enjoyed the concept of MOBAs, but I feel like it's a genre that's just really hard to break into because of the skill gap.
Onboarding is insane. Yeah, it's not necessarily the character skill gap. It's the macro map and mechanical sense that's really hard to get a grasp of.
I've tested a lot of different ones. Like I've had friends who are big into them, and they want to pull you in because they need people who won't get mad at them, I guess, when you play. But I've always bounced off. Like I tried Smite, I tried that old Lord of the Rings one. I tried to even just watch competitive League of Legends, and it's incomprehensible.
There was a Lord of the Rings MOBA.
There was, yeah.
For it was a Xbox push, I believe. They were like, you want this MOBA on Xbox? Lord of the Rings, baby.
Yeah, so I mean, all that concept has just not gelled well with me. And I've largely blamed it on the fact that MOBAs are a little hands-offy in terms of mechanics. It's more about strategy, like Jay mentioned, map awareness and stuff like that. So Deadlock seemed to maybe be addressing some of that, in that it does fuse some more hero shooter-like elements into the core gameplay, but it is still very much a MOBA. So I'm just curious, as someone who is more of a hero shooter fan, as a MOBA fan, jumping into this, to me felt like the wool had maybe been pulled over my eyes. Like I thought I was gonna get kind of a unique hero shooter experience, and it's just not that. Like it's very much a MOBA.
I land between the tides in a way. So I'm also a big hero shooter player, and I wanted this to be a hybrid of a hero shooter and a MOBA. But when we actually got in and got to play, I started to realize, they are leaning way harder into the MOBA kind of sphere than I first anticipated. And the problem for me is they're not leaning hard enough into it. They're trying to keep it freeform, like you can kind of play what you want and go in whatever lane you want. Whereas in a lot of traditional MOBAs, there are very distinct lanes that specific characters excel in, and you do that. Like you can't, in League, you shouldn't be playing a character that excels in the jungle in, say, mid lane, because they'll just get destroyed by the other characters. But here in Deadlock, it seems way more freeform. I would like to have either more of a third person MOBA or have more of a hero shooter that has uniform objectives, and I just don't think they've done enough of either.
See, that's funny. I like it that it's right in the middle of the two, because my big problem with MOBAs is like, playing Smite, a lot of your time is kind of spent just running, getting back to the battle for a lot of them. And Deadlock has this nice zipline feature that kind of gets you right back into the action. Your characters move pretty fast base level, so like, you can get around the map quickly. There's a lot of verticality, which I don't think happens really in any MOBAs that I've played. And I do like that the lanes aren't super structured, because I played one round of Smite 2 and I was in the left lane and then I went to the middle and I got yelled at. So I was like, I didn't understand that. So
it's making it more accessible for sure.
Yeah. And I like that the movement on the map, like because of that lane structure, that way the strategy kind of shifts and pulls across the map in different areas. So the way they have Deadlock set up is that, you have your towers, which are your guardians, and then your walkers, and then, basically like when one's being attacked. I think in Smite, I don't know if it shows a health bar when they're being attacked, but in this one, it shows you a health bar, so you can see the direct progress and like how urgent it is that you need to cross lanes and go help and come back.
And that is something that happens in more traditional MOBAs. It just happens a lot later in the experience, 10, 15, 20 minutes in. That's when the map kind of, things start to progress along the map, and you start trying to progress towards objectives collectively as a team rather than staying in your lanes. And you're right, like Deadlock does do this. It gets into that straight away. Like we were playing yesterday, and I was solo lane, and two people came into my lane and I was getting trounced on, and I just said I need help, and one of you quickly ziplined over and supported me. And it's really nice that you can do that immediately, but I believe it does take away some of the strategy from a lot of what MOBAs bring to the table.
Yeah, I don't know. I find myself in the middle, because some of the things that Nick was talking about and like that quicker stuff happening, I love a lot. Like that is absolutely what I want. I hate waiting 30 minutes before I can stop one-shotting minions like in my lane and I can do something else. That drives me wild. But a lot of the stuff that makes MOBAs kind of boring to me hasn't been replaced. It's just been focused on. So like you have to get the last shot on the minion, but now you also have to get the confirm kill to shoot the little soul that's coming out of it, or it'll get denied from someone else shooting it. So then you're also trying to deny their shots. So you're just zoomed in on this one part of the game. And then that kind of makes me lose the ability to look at the larger map and have that sort of strategy and be able to move freely, because that's the part I like, is being like, hey, lane 4 needs help and I'm in lane 1. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll just head over there. Like, why not? Like, but it doesn't really, for me, it didn't really allow me to do that, which was a big bummer.
Yeah, for me, like it didn't feel like a good blending of the two. Like the two systems, which is like light hero shooter mechanics and MOBA gameplay, felt opposed to one another, because the things that I like out of hero shooters is, that nice movement, that ability to, get headshots and make use of your character and to synergize with other players or whatnot. But when you do have to focus on the strategy of the minions and then the stuff you have to buy to strengthen yourself in the store so that you stand a better chance when you do get into PvP engagements, all of that felt like a distraction to what I really wanted to be doing, which was running out there and getting into like firefights with people.
Yeah.
And this is the crux of the issue for me, which is I believe a lot of people are going to be coming into Deadlock wanting that. And there's also going to be a lot of MOBA players who are wanting to come in and seeing that complexity and that depth that MOBAs can bring. And I think because they're not hyper focusing on either or, it could potentially put both sides of the party off. Because I don't see a lot of, say, League of Legends players wanting to come to replace that with Deadlock. And I don't see a lot of like hero shooter players wanting to come and replace that kind of quick, snappy, kind of quick play gameplay with Deadlock. There's going to be a niche of players who want both. But how big is that audience, right? Who knows? It might be a beautiful way to get people into the MOBA genre, but I can foresee it putting a lot of people off.
I mean, it got Nick, so
yeah, I really like Deadlock. It hit that perfect balance of not being It's complex, but not too complex. Because, you know, when you look at League or whatever, it's almost like when you were streaming WoW the other day, and I was like, oh my god, there's a billion icons on your screen. I have no idea what any of this means. And in Deadlock, they simplify it to weapon, vitality, and spirit. To me, like, it's readable. I know what I'm upgrading. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm focusing on. I don't really fully understand the spirit stuff yet. I think they need to do a better job of explaining what that is. I know it's tied to your abilities and all that, and how much damage like fire does to you over bullets. It's in early pre-alpha, so I mean, you know, getting some more UI in there to explain those things better is going to help. But my big thing
UI is something it does need.
my big thing with MOBAs though in general is like none of them just have like that right gameplay feel to me, and like I wouldn't say like Dota or any of those feel good to play. Like people play them for the strategy.
No, I agree.
The closest thing for me is maybe Predecessor, but even in Predecessor, I don't feel like I'm hitting anything. And in Deadlock, like the gameplay, like the third-person shooting gameplay feels really good. And I think I've probably, out of all of you, I think I've played the most because I played a bunch that first night that we got codes, and I've played probably about half the heroes, and there isn't a hero that I really didn't enjoy using, which is a big surprise to me because usually in hero shooters or anything like that, I flock to maybe 2 or 3, and in this I found like most of the abilities are really fun to use, and especially that last match we played yesterday where I finally figured out like the build for the fire guy, and I started ripping people apart, and I was like, I get it, this is fun.
It's safe to say that, Nick, you plan on playing more of this when we get, you know, additional opportunities, when it's out of alpha, when it's launching.
Yeah, no, I've had the itch for a new shooter that involves strategy, and you know that's how much I like Siege for that, the strategy part of that. And the closest thing this game reminds me of is Battleborn, weirdly enough, which.
It did not fare well.
No, but even like Gigantic tried to make its comeback. We streamed that, and I think all of us kind of came away like, eh. So yeah, I think this has a bright future ahead of it. Like it's really, really mechanically solid already. I think, you know, some map adjustments, some strategy adjustments. Figure better UI to better explain the characters and what you know all the spirit does and all that. I think this game's gonna do quite well.
I think for people like Nick, awesome, it's hitting them. For people like me, if they introduce some new elements, like if they just have a character that comes in and is a complete healer, like don't worry about final shotting, kind of like a support in League, where it's like you don't want to one-shot minions. All you do is poke at the enemy and heal your team and buff them, and that's it. And like if they introduce a character like that, awesome. I would like that a lot. It might get me more interested in this game. But it seems like the shooting is such a hardcore part of it. It may not happen.
That is a weird part about Deadlock. There is no like character classes really.
Which is what I was getting to about the lanes, right? In League or traditional MOBAs, you have an ADC or a carry and a support who supports them in lane, and a mid laner or a jungler. And Deadlock has jungle camps. I don't know if you guys noticed that in the center of the map. There are jungle camps, and there are distinct lanes. But at no point could I, through reading the descriptions or playing them, understand what direction or role the kind of character should be playing. I was looking for one that was like, this is very clearly a jungler. They benefit from being and killing the jungle camps. And that's what I feel like it's missing from that entire experience. I want there to be a support, and you know, you come and support me, Jesse, and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they don't even have like let alone roles like top lane, jungle. They don't even have a basic thing like, I do a lot of damage. Look at this Tommy gun. Like, that character does not say explicitly what they do. And I was
you have to intuit it, and it feels weird.
Yeah, I read through a bunch of them and be like, but who's support? Like, who does a thing I want to do? And that was a hard thing to find that I had to go through playing, and I ended up playing several characters I did not like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may just be... I mean, that seems like an easy fix, though, right? Like, they can just
easily,
the characters who fit those roles.
And tweak them as well, right?
They very well could be.
Yeah, I mean, the first match we played yesterday, I was playing somewhat of a support character because I was able to drop a healing item behind Jay and all that and support him as he was going in. And then she also had the wall that I could set up, and I kept blocking Jesse from getting kills on accident.
By accident.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's spikes on the other side. I was trying to get the kill.
As much as I have been, maybe criticizing some of the designs, I still really enjoyed my time with it. As a MOBA player, because I can naturally do a lot of the things that is required for MOBA players, I found actually playing and kind of dominating in matches relatively easy. So for me, I look forward to going in and basically just being extremely powerful because I know what to do on the larger macro scale, and then getting and encountering maybe in ranked play players who do play MOBAs and seeing what that kind of high level gameplay looks like. I do think this game has a future and could be like a huge contender in the MOBA space. It just needs to be really careful on how it advertises itself, because I think if they just do it through it's a hero shooter with MOBA elements, a lot of people are going to get turned off. They need to just advertise it correctly.
Yeah.
Jay, you helped a lot in that last match in terms of focusing me and I guess Jesse as well on like what we should be doing to then be successful and like have a character that can, matter and get kills in a match.
Compete.
And after all of that, once I was like, okay, I'm starting to understand like what I'm supposed to do here, I still felt like this wasn't for me. So, and I think that just might be the case for a lot of people, like, because it is like, and I guess I was hoping it was gonna be the thing that turned me on to the magic of the MOBA, but I think I still just sit outside that wall.
Yeah, and I will say, for all my complaints and that I currently don't plan to play more, and maybe I'll touch it again some other time, really well made. Like Jay saying, It has a future. Like, yeah, it's good enough in alpha for that to be fairly clear. Again, Casey, if it's advertised to the correct market.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Any final statements on Deadlock before we wrap this up?
Can I just say it's really ugly? Like, am I allowed to? I think the character designs don't look good. I don't like the muted colors. I hate the setting.
I love that it's not generic. Magenta.
I mean, it's alpha, but there's no context for why. Like, I don't know why there's a blue Hellboy. I don't know why, like, the minions have candles for heads. Like, I don't know.
There's like story stuff missing, but like it's alpha, so like I guess that's not super important.
And it's a MOBA thing. Like League of Legends lore and Dota lore is all just in descriptions and stuff like that. It's difficult to convey all.
But I do feel like there's some level of uniformity in League and Dota and Smite and even Heroes of the Storm, which, thanks for reminding me, is a game I forgot. I've even played it. That looking at it, it's like, oh, I could kind of put these pieces together. Like, I don't, and then I can read descriptions and be like, oh, I was right or wrong about this. But in this, I have no idea why anything is happening. And there's a lot of evil, disembodied voices whispering in my ear the whole match. And I feel like I should be worried. And I don't know why.
You sure that wasn't just me?
There was also Nick.
Come to blue lane, come to blue lane.
Being mad every time I stole a kill.
But yeah, I mean, that's the MOBA experience in a nutshell. But thanks everyone for hanging out with us for another one of these topical punch conversations. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.